You know, I'm lucky in that when I came, had to be treated. You had to be treated when your counts get so that you have too many cancerous white cells. And first I had chemotherapy for a week, which was pretty bad. And then I said, I don't think I'm getting the kind of care I need in this community hospital. So I went to Madison and went to the hospital for a month. And with a good team of doctors, before in a community hospital, one doctor handling all cancer cases and trying to decide what you need to be in a research hospital. They would meet each morning. My case, I don't want to go into too much with this, you know, it's my case. It just, kicked off my immune system, so it killed all my neutrophils. And the neutrophils are a type of the white cells that fight infections, and including what you already have, like you're carrying around a strep of some kind, which we all do, or TB, you know, that's going to kick in, or aspergillus, you know, you get a lung infection, which I did. Just at that time, Rituxan, R-I-T-U-X, what, I-N-A-N, was coming on the market, had just been released for lymphoma. So the doctor said, let's use it off-label. And that brought back my neutrophils, or what it does is kill the white cells that are cancerous, the lymphocytic cells. So every 6 months, I go to the UW hospital, and for 4 weeks, 1 day a week, I get an infusion of Rituxan, which kills the lymphocytes, and then it keeps my immune system the way it's supposed to be. So I'm fortunate. Not all people with CLL, chronic lymphocytic leukemia, have this marker on that cell, which this drug will go to and just kill that cell. Quite a drug. There are a number of cancer drugs like that now, you know. Some of you, pardon me. Yes, he's my, you know of you and your family, or? Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Pardon me?
he's very good.
Yes, Elliot Williams. He's the hematologist.
I'm glad the medicine is working.
Pardon?
I'm glad
Oh,
the medicine is
thank you.
working.
Thank you. Yeah. It's lucky when you find a medicine that works for you. And that you have some health insurance that covers it, because every 6 months it's $50,000 for that treatment. Good.
Richard, we'll have finish in about 3 minutes.
Yes.
End of this tape, but would you just talk about your news project that you're working on now?
Oh, all right. If you all have a few, the time is it almost 8? So we've been about an hour. All right. What is my new project? 3, if I can think of them. 1, and it's almost complete. I was living in New York during the 1960s, teaching at New York University. I had then returned to photographing, and I would spend days photographing in Manhattan, and the World Trade Center started construction about 1968, 67, completed about 71. And for a 2-year period, I would go at least once a week down to the World Trade Center while it was being constructed, while one part of Manhattan was being destroyed, taken down, old neighborhoods, so the 2 towers could be built in that whole area. So I stored these photographs in closets as I moved from one place to another, and finally decided, and with the coming down of the towers and the relevance, to work on a book. So I'm now, it's called Once Upon an Island, and it's about a Midwesterner who goes to Manhattan with a camera and photographs. And I will have an exhibit of the photographs in Oklahoma next year at the Price Tower Art Center. And the Price Tower in Bartles Janesville, Oklahoma, is the only Frank Lloyd Wright skyscraper. I had not known that. He made one skyscraper that was constructed. And at the top of that skyscraper now is the Price Tower Arts Center. And there'll be an exhibit of these photographs. So that's one thing. Sophie and I came across a book visiting a friend that was published in Norway in 1945 of 100 woodcuts by Albert Jeren and his journal entries during the German occupation, April 9th, 1940 to May 8th, 1945. Jeren was a woodcut artist and made woodcuts of daily events during that period, plus his journal entries. So Solveig has translated the journal entries. Kathleen Stoker at Luther College has written a wonderful introduction about the occupation of Norway. And that'll be the second book. What's the third? I'm revising of Time and Place because I want to use the family photographs better from the album. And I've just started a children's book called Mystery of the Marsh. It's a story I've been telling since the 1960s, since I left Wisconsin. And I imagine it is actually happening. And I found the photograph yesterday and sent it to a friend who, if we find a publisher, will be the illustrator. On my 13th birthday in 1947, I feared it would be the last year of my life. I turned 13, I must have been superstitious. And I asked my mother to take my picture in front of the milk house. So there I am, standing in front of the milk house with my dog Shep, and being photographed, because that's going to be the end of my life. And within the year, and then the story is about the boy, I suppose it's a coming of age story. Goes to the marsh. He goes down to the old place where his great-grandparents had settled. He goes into the old foundation, enters another world, comes up in the marsh. And over a period in the marsh, which may just be the night, but it's like the whole year, he meets the muskrat that comes out holding the soil from the beginning of creation, who is a trickster figure, splashing him in the face and telling him riddles, asking him questions, like a trickster, Native American. As an aside, great-grandmother Bridget, my father would tell me, said that she saw the Potawatomis coming back on the ridge, on the land, to see their home. They had been moved to Kansas, you know what, in the 1880s, I think, and would come back where their ancestors had camped in the summer, coming up from Illinois, in the marsh, this marsh on the farm. The boy then, as winter comes, while still in fall, meets the great blue heron. The heron comes down to him, and he falls in love with her. So it's his first experience with that love with that other beautiful bird. And then in the winter, as he survives on the side of the hill, comes the winter witch, who says, "You can stay with me forever. You don't have to change. You'll have life everlasting in this form." The boy decides, no, he wants to be like other people and live his life now. And spring comes, and he goes back to the old place and comes back up and walks back home. So that's the children's story. Lisa McLaughlin, who's illustrated other children's books, and I are going to go down the farm next week with her camera so she can photograph these scenes and then do the artwork for the book, Mystery of the Marsh. Well, thank you then for coming. Thank you for my story.